I know my son's mother is not an organic chemist. She has no physical chemistry. She has no organic chemistry. She doesn't know what omegas are. She does, pH balance. She's going to think it's just made for a woman, not for a man. Okay, she doesn't understand physics. She doesn't understand mathematics. She doesn't understand chemistry. What do you honestly have in common with her? Anything? I honestly couldn't think of a single thing other than the fact that you were desperate and she was desperate, and you said, fuck morality, I want to fuck this woman. Okay? Honestly, did you honestly think, you never bothered to find out, that, like, someday that 20-year, sealing of his name, scrubbing his name off the internet for 20 years, that 20 years wasn't going to end, that he's not going to turn 21 someday? Okay, with the fact that he was 2 at the time, it means it had to wait a little bit longer for it to start showing up on the boards. Okay, but did you not think that I would find him once he was visible? Do you not think that it hasn't crossed his heart that he wants to know who I am and where I am? Do you think that the deep, most pituitary, motor-skilled, primordial, cerebellic process of brain function doesn't have me stored in his brain? It's a driving fucking gnat chasing the gadfly of Io. Do you understand? You know what the gadfly is, Io? You don't even know Io, do you? Europa? You never read Prometheus Bound? You're not a Greek. Why did you name your son, who has no Greek blood, Greek? Why did you try and outrank and name him over my son? You've now given my son an inferiority complex and an abandonment complex. Okay? Has the kid committed suicide yet? Okay? At this point, he's not happy. He's miserable sitting where you're at, in the middle of some 100-degree fucking day, and floods. Your floods happen because of the works that we did on Kraken. Okay? As Krakens, we work on what's called solar radiation management. So all those KC-130 or the KC-135s and C-130s are flying by, they've got a GPS in it that correlates all the data, that gives you the little weather models that you see on last year's model on the news channels. Okay? Well, it's just, you're being stormed out because you guys aren't submitting to this democratic communist takeover. And since you guys are going Lone Star, that Lone Star is getting, you guys frozen, okay, in the middle of fucking January, February, and all that stuff. 4 months ago, you guys were frozen fucking solid, and they put in a bunch of fucking little windmills and shit like that, and you guys aren't men. Okay? Or else you would have put your fucking foot down before that shit even happened and say, no, it's absolutely fucking retarded to sit there and try and put solar panels and wind panels in the middle of a fucking desert where it rains and snows. We've got far too much land, there's far too much distance, the current can't carry the signal that fucking far, and if a fucking wind tunnel, if it ever snows anywhere, there's gonna be fucking outages of all the goddamn, the windmills. And if there's fucking ice sitting on top of the fucking photovoltaic panels, they're gonna be, especially if they're organic photovoltaic panels, they're gonna be, they're useless. So, again, as men, you didn't jump in and take control of the fucking boardroom. You're sitting there, making sticky tape or whatever the fuck you're doing. Look, I respect you as a person, but, that respect only goes so far. I don't know you, okay? But you stole my son. I'm commanded to forgive you, so I forgive you. Am I going to be calling for you to go to prison for the rest of your life? It's called kidnapping. Okay? It carries a mandatory 25 to life. So, did none of that ever cross your mind when you stole my son? Okay? Has he gotten into trouble at all? Has he been lashing out lately? Is he just lost in a world that he doesn't understand and wants to find his place in it? You stole that. And you didn't even bother to, go and check your references. You didn't verify the facts. You didn't go to the source. Okay? You're not a man, dude. You really kind of I try to be polite about it. I call you a person. I'll call you a person. I'll give you that respect. But you're not a man. Okay? You don't believe in Jesus Christ. You don't worship Jesus. You're a Catholic. Okay? It means you worship the Pope. You worship the Antichrist. Okay? Man was created in God's image to resemble him, and he thought it not right that man should be alone, so he created woman as his helpmeet. I'm kind of mixing two verses together and summarizing. Okay? Well, are you a Catholic, or are you, Christian? Because Christians don't steal other people's children. Okay? Christians don't do divorce. Okay? Christians don't take a woman that is born another man's child. It's clear that if a woman has another child, that woman has already fulfilled her vows. She's in that realm. Her life is now bound to that child and that child's father. And since that child's father's not in the house, that means there's extra work that has to happen that she gets to that father. She has no time for a new man. If they do, that's like a cat walking down an alley on a night, and all the other cats in the town have their turn, and next thing you know, you have a litter of calicos and tabbies and all these different things going on here. Okay, it's not racism. Like I said, I don't care what your race is. Okay, I really don't like the fact that you're a communist, but you're not a civilized, so I don't expect much from you. Does that sound offensive to you? It's not meant to be. It's one man talking to another, mano a mano. Okay, hand to hand. Okay, there's another kind of thing like in the old days, you fight to the death. But that was the old days. Nowadays, we smile and we say, "Oh, thank you. Thank you for stealing my son and fucking my son's mother." It's not like we could have worked out what was going on once she fucking stopped listening to other people that were preying on her naivete. And then we could have both had a life where son, father, mother, and future family could have happened, and that she could have figured out that I was becoming a member of the Jason Society. No, you didn't do that. You had a hard-on, you had an erection, and you wanted to get laid by a blonde Viking woman. Okay, so again, I'm not mad at you. I mean, you guys are both consenting adults. I'm not enthused with what you've done, but again, it's 2021. There's no more rules. Everyone's kind of like, well, there's no male and female, and we're gonna cut little boys' penises off, and little girls are gonna become men, and we're gonna start culturally appropriating people's terminology, like calling yourselves slaves and oppressed and minorities. We're whites. We're Caucasians. We are the minority. You steal that label as minority. You get benefits from that. You get travel benefits. You get migration benefits. You get cuts in line when it comes to any sort of service. Okay, and my son is at the back of the line, and you stripped him of his father. You placated that. Not one time in 20 years had it never crossed your mind to say, this might not be the best plan. Maybe he should see his father. He should know who his father is. No? Are your children circumcised like mine is? You don't think that's going to stand out at all? That he's going to, when they grow up and they see each other, that they're looking at and say, why does mine look like a penis and mine looks like a human penis and yours looks like the penis on that dog or that animal over there? Like, here's a dog with an erection and it's got this little flappity thing at the end of it. And, are you guys like animals, or are you guys like, what are you? There's a lot of things that cross a child's mind, I'm trying to be very, very polite about it. I'm not racist. I'm not a Nazi. I believe in truth. I believe in logic and mathematics. Okay? Again, like deductive, inductive reasoning. If you can infer, or you can, infer a conclusion at your own leisure. You can infer whatever you choose. But what you derive has to come from truth. Okay? Derivatives. They're not inferences. Okay? And if you spent 20 years deluding yourself under a lie of some inference that you were more than eager to maybe go along with, well then, perhaps you should consider, like, taking the COVID shot, getting the COVID vaccination. That might be a good thing to do, because with that COVID vaccination, you can be safe and secure from 0.000000001 efficacy of a flu that was made by, again, of your species. Okay, there's genus and species. Okay, I'm not talking shit. I'm not being mad. I'm talking about what is the actual truth of science and physics. Okay, and so your people released a bioweapon on the Earth, and okay, all right, okay, and so he's gonna have to worry about this. It's just there's I can forgive all of that, and again, like, I'm not mad at you, so I don't really want you getting mad saying, oh my God, he's being offensive. Oh, take down the video. I don't care. I'm just trying to send a message to my son. I'm trying to talk to my son right now, and after 20 years, and kind of explain to him kind of what's going on here. No. I'm not mad at you. You're a grown man. You can do whatever you want to do. Am I going to bring violence for you? Oh God, no, I don't deal with shit like that. I'm such a pacifist, I don't even fucking fuck around. I don't deal with it. I'm a Christian. I'm not even allowed to get mad. Okay? Again, the scripture says if you can think it, it's the same as doing it. Okay? Again, because this universe is not linear. This is every possible possibilities in this universe is possible and is true. Okay? It means that every possibility is possible. So if you think it, in whatever multiverse that you're going to be over, or whatever world line that you hop to, okay, because by 2034 we're going to have time travel kind of perfected, at least to a cesium 204 clock, okay, but cesium 206 clock is going to maybe a couple of years. We got to get a 64-bit calendar clock going on first, and so I guess if you wanted to be really impressive, you could invent a 64-bit clock count. Instead of a 32-bit clock, it ticks off 1 byte a second, every second for 32 bits, which runs out January 19th, 2038, 3 hours, 14 minutes, and 7 seconds in the morning, pi in the morning. That really starts to lose a lot of licenses on the, the 18th at, between 8 and 11. There's a 1 hour window between all licenses are going to go off. You know what I mean? I'm trying to pull it from memory. I've run a huge matrice on test runs and shit like that. Because like that's what all the real people that are working on that are going to kind of save the world. Because in 2038, time runs out. Are you working on that at 3M with your smart guys? Because that's what I was called in to do when I was being invited to the Jason Society, when you decided that you thought it more appropriate rather than say, hey, it really sounds like you guys are going through a personal thing right now, and that you might have a little bit too much baggage, and you've got a relatively newborn child right now, and that maybe that is, you should maybe do the right thing and go back and repair whatever damage that you've done in your relationship. She's obviously not a widow. I don't know if you're a widower. I don't know if your wife died and you got left with the kids or whatever the case is, but at that same point, maybe it's time to take them back to the home country so they can be with their extended families instead of going and destroying someone else's. Okay, because what happened is, the night that you guys coordinated that you were going to go off and do your little eloped rendezvous, she called my great-grandmother and said that she was going to be picking them up early, wouldn't be back, and a whole kind of coordination of this little conspiracy theory, well, what ended up happening is when, again, my great-grandmother was in there washing socks, okay, doing the laundry like a good woman does, okay, my son was at her house, about 2 years old, okay, couldn't speak yet, could understand a little bit, no real functional vocabulary, right? And so she's doing socks, she gets a phone call, so she puts the socks down for a second, rings him, dries her hands.